when you don't have a father in the home, you have no example of how to be a father. So you got to learn it on the job.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I personally made a lot of mistakes, you know, when it came to being a father and a husband. You know, I'm on my third marriage.
Okay.
You know, and, you know, I'm not ashamed of any of my failures, you know, because my failures have made me who I am now.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
There will still be the journey.
The journey.
New sheriff in town, and his name is the journey.
Journey.
This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is
The journey.
The journey.
What is it that moved you?
The journey. The journey. The journey. The journey.
The Journey Initiative is being generously supported by TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority.
Welcome to another episode of The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and today we have two Memphis icons instead of our typical one. But before we go there, we're going to go with our quote. Our quote today is specifically focused on this show, and it goes a little something like this. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. In this particular case, there could be no more apropos proverb, quote that we could use, because these two brothers, twins, by the way, straight out of Westwood, men of the sonic boom of the South. They're also men of that purple and gold. You know, I wore a little lilac shirt just to kind of make them feel a little more comfortable. Graduates of Jackson State University, philanthropists, great friends, husbands, fathers, community activists, and also entrepreneurs. They're also the owners of Castle Black Construction. So listen, without further ado, we have Jarrett and Jonathan Logan. What's up, brothers?
Hey, man, how's it going?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Y'all
It's good to
testing
see
my
you.
skills, man, because now I got to do two at the same time. You know, people kind of wondering if I got the skills to do that.
Hey, look, people don't have to wonder, man.
They ain't gonna wonder because I got it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So as we always go,
Yeah.
let's start in the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell us about back in the day when you guys, two bros, just checking and sitting there watching cartoons. Where did y'all start it at in the early years?
Yeah, man. You know, Jonathan and I, you know, we're products of Memphis. We love Memphis. Memphis is our home. You know, we started off in Tulane apartments.
Okay.
You know, Tulane.
Okay.
Left Tulane and
Where's
moved-
Tulane?
Tulane Apartments is on Tulane. It's in between Shelby Drive and Holmes Road.
Okay.
Started out there.
Whitehaven area.
Whitehaven, yeah.
Started out there, moved into Lakeview Garden, where my mama was eventually able to afford a house. And,
Right.
Products of Westwood High School.
Okay. Hold on, don't go too far.
Absolutely.
Early years. Who had the biggest impact on young Jonathan and Jarrett?
Early years.
Outside of your parents, outside of your mom.
I mean, if I'm being honest, being straightforward, I would have to say there was really no big impact until we got to high school.
Okay. And what happened in high school?
When we made it to Westwood, back then, Westwood went from 7th grade to the 12th grade.
Okay.
Even though there was two separate schools, junior high and high school, we were all in the same building.
Right.
So we were students of that school, and we became a part of the Westwood High School Longhorn marching band.
Okay.
And we were a part of the band from 7th grade through the 12th grade. And the band director, Mr. Ricky Richardson, was a big figure in our lives.
Shout out to Mr. Richardson.
Yes,
Absolutely.
He was a big part of our lives. In fact, our motto in the band was more than music, because it was about life skills. So that was a big part of our upbringing.
Got it. What decisions did you make, especially you, Jarrett? What decision did you make as a young person that you think had a lifelong impact? You may not have known it at the time you made the decision, but what decision did you make that you can call on?
As an adolescent, I think one of the biggest decisions that I did make was, I'm gonna piggyback out Jonathan, was not to play basketball.
Really?
Because I'm tall. Right. Everybody assumes that you're supposed to play basketball. But one of the best decisions I ever made was to join the Longhorn Marching Band.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What instruments?
I play saxophone.
You play sax? Sax and trombone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's attributed directly to what Jonathan stated. It was absolutely more than music. We came from a single parent home, and kudos to my mom. She did an outstanding job. But I have to be honest and say that, there were just a lot of things that a mother just could not teach a son.
Right. And where's dad? Where's dad during this time?
Dad is in Memphis, raising his other kids and his other family.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. We gonna unpack that a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. So when did you know you was gonna be okay? Yeah. When did Jonathan? When did you know you was gonna be okay? When did you know you was gonna be all right?
Well, I always knew that I was gonna be all right.
Okay. So it wasn't after the first million. It wasn't after the first or the second million. That it just.
No way. There was a teacher, excuse me, I don't mean to say guy, but there was an instructor in college by the name of Vint Mixon.
Okay.
And I can vividly remember, man, one day he said, man, y'all guys are going to be well off. And said, you and your brother, y'all are going to be well off. Y'all just have that drive that I can see.
Wow.
In you all.
Being prophetic.
That's going to take you all far.
Okay.
And that came from somebody that saw something in me that I really didn't necessarily see in myself at that particular time.
Okay.
And that's something that's actually one moment that I can vividly recall, and I think about it all the time.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you how much I think about it. There's a football player named Joe Mixon. Mm-hmm. I always want to say, I wonder if that's Vint Mixon's son.
Oh,
I always think that every time I see him play.
Wow.
And I thought about trying to reach out to him just to see how.
So you don't know where Mr.
he's
Mixon
doing.
is?
I don't know where he is. I hadn't talked to him or seen him since he was my college instructor, but I remember those words he said to me. Yeah.
Jonathan, how different are you from the person you dreamed you would be as a child?
How different? Wow. Yeah. That's a pretty good question. Again, man, just to be straight up, I don't think I'm any different because I have always wanted to own my own business. So I always had that vision. I always saw myself.
You saw yourself as an entrepreneur.
So, man, yeah. So my mother, right? Mm-hmm. She retired from the school system. Actually, she was a school cook, and she retired
in 85
in the 80s, and she had to find a way to make ends meet. And she was, a small business owner.
Okay.
She sold Avon.
Oh wow.
She was a neighborhood candy lady. She did catering for people. So in that right, she was a small business owner, and I saw her doing those things. And then not only that, one of our best friends, his father was a business owner. So we saw that. And that was just something that we always wanted to do. We always knew that we wanted to have our own business. At that time, we didn't know what path or in what direction, but we always knew that.
Right. Yeah. Listen, something that I think was said that I want you to pick up on as men. If they can see it, they can be it. Mm-hmm. We got to provide those good examples.
Yeah.
We got to provide those good examples. So last question this segment. We always ask about when you realized you were black. But we got two people here. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back on the other side, and we're going to give both brothers an opportunity to express when they realized that they were black men. Listen, you're listening or looking at The Journey, and we're going to be right back in a second. Don't go nowhere.
KUDZUKIAN.
Check out all your KUDZUKIAN favorites now.
And we are back on the journey. Listen, today we have Memphis icons that I know you're going to see from here on out, but also you're going to be impressed with the rest of the story. So we have Jonathan and Jarrett Logan of Castle Black Construction, and they were about to share with us when they realized they were brothers. But before they do that, I want to level set a little bit.
Yeah.
What does family mean to you?
Oh, man. Family means structure.
Okay.
You know, it means balance.
Okay.
It means chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Unpack that. Unpack chaos a little bit.
You know, when you hear the word family, people love to use positive adjectives and verbs and all those type of different things to describe what family is. Mm-hmm. But that's not what family is.
Okay. Family
is a melting pot, is a gumbo of all different types of emotions and feelings.
Okay.
But, you know, when you're able to put all of that together,
right, and
put it in a pot,
right,
you know, and stir it up and take a bite out of it, it always comes out to be something great and good. Right. You know, you know, family is a institution that teaches you how to be, you know, a positive individual. It teaches you how to be a loving husband, wife, or father, or son, right, or a daughter. But, you know, it's also a place where you can be vulnerable.
Right.
You know, it's a place where you can have differences and, you know, and still be loved. You know, now, don't get me wrong, you know, in all those instances, everybody's different. And so you have this tug of war. And you have those fights and those, you know, moments of tense and moments of being uncomfortable. But in a family, you always come back to that one place of love. Always.
Hold on for a second. Fatherhood and legacy. What does that mean to you?
Man, fatherhood and legacy. Fatherhood and legacy means strength. It means being there. It means protection. It means being that strong figure in the family that we just finished talking about. It means being a leader.
Got it. So, asking you guys, when was the first time, Jonathan, that you realized you were a brother?
Man, this goes back to, I don't remember quite what age I was, but I could have been no more than between the ages of maybe 6 and 10.
Okay.
My mother and I think Jared was with us. We were driving down Bellevue.
Okay.
And she got pulled over by a cop.
Okay.
And of course, you know, the cop got out and asked her for a license and everything, and she passed it along. I don't know what happened, but they exchanged words. And he, in so many words, told her, well, look, I can take you to jail, and I'll just take that little black boy somewhere else.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, my mother, you know, she
immediately
clicked.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah.
Jared?
I think, man, I want to say a moment that I had, you know, I've had quite a few moments, and I think we all have, you know, but I can remember being on a band trip. We was down in the Delta in Mississippi. We still had our uniforms and stuff on, and we stopped at a restaurant to eat.
Right.
And it was full of people that didn't look like us. Mm-hmm. And the way they grabbed their things and their bags and their purses and ran up out of there, you know, holding the kids tight and things of that nature, makes you feel like, you know, you are this uncomfortable person that they don't want to be around, you know. So that's probably one moment, but, you know, I've had several.
I've had a few, huh?
You know,
most of us have.
Yeah,
most of us have. So,
you know,
moving right along, let's go back to the house.
Okay.
The first house you remember. Mm-hmm. Who's in the house? How many people?
So the first house that I can remember was the second floor of 2-lane apartment. You It was at that time. Now keep in mind, it's 8 of us.
Wait a minute.
Kids.
It's 8 kids?
Yeah. We're
And your mom?
Well, let Jerry finish telling the story.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 8 of us. We're the last of 8.
Okay.
Now
Who's the very last? Who the baby?
Me.
You the baby.
I'm the baby. But before us, my brother, before the twins came along, he's 16 years older than us.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, he's 16 years older than us. So by the time we came along, all of them were grown.
Right.
And pretty much gone. So we were in 2-lane apartments. I can remember it was me, my mom, my sister Denise, Jonathan and Jarrett, and Douglas would periodically trickle in and out of jail back to the house.
Okay.
So it was about 6 of us in a 2-bedroom. Mm-hmm. It was a 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
1 bath.
One bath. Yeah. Coordination, logistics. All of y'all learned that at an early age.
Yeah. You know, and I have a lot of moments that I can recall growing up there. You know, a lot of them were good. You know, I have some bad memories
Tell me about
too.
Let me get a bad one. Because see, I don't want these young men specifically to think just because of you looking at the finished products. You're not looking at what they went through. So let's give them an idea of what might a young...
You know, I can remember moments. Because I think when we moved from there, we were maybe about 7 or 8, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in there.
Somewhere around us, between 7 and 9, I guess. Mm-hmm. But, you know... Can y'all recall those apartments where it was nothing but dirt outside in front, wasn't no grass?
Right.
There's a lot of concrete, but there was always glass broken on it.
Right.
Always glass broken.
Yeah.
I can remember one time, and I think we had moved. Yeah, we had moved from there by then, but my brother was still hanging out over there, and he had got beat up so bad. He had got like his whole face was I want to say his eye was busted. His whole lip was torn off his face.
Oh my God.
His whole lip was completely split and just dangling over.
How old were you?
I was young, you know. I was probably about 7 or 8 then, I guess.
Whoa. Which brother was this? It's Douglas?
The one that's 16 years older than us.
Okay. Yeah, Douglas. That's the one that's always.
Where's Douglas today?
He's in Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah. He's Douglas.
Now y'all went to Jackson State.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fast forward to Jackson State.
Yeah.
How did you get to Jackson State? Why Jackson State of all places?
So Jackson State is.
Let me explain this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we mentioned in the last segment, we were a part of the band, and of course we wanted to go to college.
The Sonic Boom of South Memphis.
And we were, yes, exactly. We were drum majors, right? And we wanted to be a part of the best, and we saw that Jackson State had the best drum majors.
Right.
And so we made it a goal to make sure that we go to college and we go try out for the band. And our goal was to become drum majors in the Sonic Boom.
Okay.
And that's how it happened, basically. You know,
that's how it happened. I was in high school.
Now wait a minute, y'all leaving out a key part.
No,
when y'all were trying to get to, one of you guys had difficulty getting to Jackson.
Well,
State.
that was because of the grades. well, so that was because of the grades, right?
Okay.
So, and this is just a testament that, there's a book called A Students Work for C Students. I was not an A student.
Okay.
I was not. I've never gotten an honor roll, not one time, ever. I was always a C, D, B student.
Okay. So how did you...
I did not make the grades to even get into college. I did not.
How did you get? Okay.
I did not even get the ACT score to get into college. And I don't care about saying it now because I'm a college graduate. But I took the ACT and I didn't get the score.
Right.
I gave Jonathan my driver's license. He went and took the ACT for me.
Oh, wait a minute. Statute of limitations, brother. Wait a minute. Now, I heard of twins doing it with girls.
I mean, y'all
did it on the whole
doing
system?
everything that you can think of. Like, I didn't get the ACT score. I think I maybe I took the ACT and the ACT. I didn't get a high on those scores. So I was like, John, can you go and take the test for me? So John went and took it.
Oh my God.
Well,
John, what? How you feel about that, man? He putting you out there, man.
I mean, well, he's just a part of the game.
Donald Trump cheats in everything he's involved in. So what?
Point made. Okay, so transition to adulthood. You're leaving Jackson State. Wife, kids. What's the rough parts there? Tell me about family.
Wow, man.
Well, first job first. When you left Jackson State, first job?
So we were working before we left Jackson State.
Oh, okay.
I was working. So I worked, and so I can say that Jonathan and I have always had positive influences at every stage of our life.
Okay.
With all of the stuff that we've had happening around us, from the no father in the home to barely making ends meet, like, mom's barely making ends meet. A lot of stuff that the popular kids had, we never had. Like, man, I never had my first pair of Nikes until my wife bought them when I was in college. Well, she was my girlfriend then, but she later on became my wife. But so that's just a little testament of how poor we were brought up. Like, my mom never had a job. So to answer your question, we've always had positive influences. Now, when we got to college, we was able to get interns at the end of our freshman year with the Black Engineering Company. And they had this engineering company, I want to say they had just started. They had maybe been in business about 2 years. I would say 3 to 5 years before we went there.
It was 2 years, I want to say.
They gave us an intern, and they liked us, and we stayed there. And we stayed there throughout the duration of college.
So y'all worked there together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And now this particular engineering company, IMS Engineers, led by John Calhoun and Rod Hill, they're like one of the largest engineering companies in the country. I mean, these are big time guys. Like they're you like to talk about when we made our first, like these guys making like millions. Like,
I mean, man, they're worldwide. They're over in Africa. They're here.
Yeah.
So is that your role models?
Yes. So yes, absolutely. So my first job was working with IMS Engineers as a freshman and sophomore up to my junior, senior year in college. Just hanging around the guys, learning what they do, running errands and making copies and
driving them around.
Now, how did you guys get connected with them?
So I want to say, how did we get connected with them?
I don't quite remember, but I do know that John was a professor on the college campus at the time.
Okay. And another brother seen something in you guys.
Right.
I think it's kind of hard to miss both of you guys coming together.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because many young men are dealing with the fact that they may not have a pops at home. How did you guys use the fact that you didn't have one at home to help you propel you to where you are now? Or who you are now?
I always told myself, for one, being a father, that I want to be the total opposite. I always want to be there for my kids. So that's step number one. And then step number two, man, is just that I just knew, right, that being a strong father figure was gonna make the difference, right? And so it didn't
come without its own struggles.
Okay.
Within itself.
What's a struggle? What kind of struggle?
So, when you don't have a father in the home, you have no example of how to be a father. So you got to learn it on the job.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I personally made a lot of mistakes, you know, when it came to being a father and a husband. You know, I'm on my third marriage.
Okay.
You know, and, you know, I'm not ashamed of any of my failures, you know, because my failures have made me who I am now.
They were learning experiences.
Yeah. But, you know, I give that not having a father around, you know, as just another example of how your life can be hard, but it's also doable, you know, if you maintain your positive attitude. And I think that that's where a lot of men feel it, is that, you know, they give up. Like, you might not know, you might make a lot of errors, but you just cannot give up. You have to believe. And, you know, it's so cliche because, like, a lot of people say that all the time. And you hear it so much that it almost goes in one ear and out of the other. But belief goes a long way.
Belief in yourself, faith.
Yeah.
Faith, I mean, is what it sounds like to me.
It's a manifestation, because the more you believe in positive things, the more positive things come to you. The more you feed yourself negative thoughts, the more negative things you draw to you.
Absolutely.
You know.
Quick question, Jonathan.
Sure.
What's your greatest success? If you had to pick one, I know you got many.
My greatest success is being a father.
Oh, wow.
So I'm a father of a wonderful 17-year-old daughter. She's a lot smarter than me. And actually, sometimes she has to keep me on track.
There you go.
So I have to say that's my
greatest success.
Yeah, I would say my greatest success is, you know, is my family, you know. You know, my current family that I have, you know, I am so proud of the things that we've accomplished in my ability to, you know, continue raising my two sons because they're older. But, you know, my wife came into the marriage with two younger girls, you know, and I feel like I have an opportunity to, you know, to correct some of the things that I didn't get right. With my two sons. Now, you know, my two sons are great. Like, I have the nicest boys ever, you know, and I'm still continuing to learn and grow with them. But I'm also doing the same things with the two girls, but with them being younger, I have an opportunity to kind of correct some of the things that I didn't, you know, more so get right with my first two sons.
Fantastic. So listen, man, we're coming to the end.
Yeah.
I want you guys to do two things. And both of you got your own cameras.
All right. Yeah.
So quickly, Jonathan, I want you to speak right into your camera.
Okay.
And leave them with a Loganism. Leave the brothers with something that they can take from this moment.
Loganism, I like that.
With them, that they can always call on from this conversation.
All right. I'll say this. Ladies and gentlemen, success comes with failure. Just because you have failures does not mean that you are a failure. You have to always get up and try. If you don't try, you will never succeed. Failure is a part of life, so don't be afraid to fail. Michael Jordan took thousands and thousands and thousands of shots that he failed before he became the greatest basketball player of all times. So don't be afraid of failure. Get up and go try.
Jarrett?
Here's my Loganism. And it's more so pointed directly toward the young men. Young men, always hold your head up. Always speak your mind. Stand firm. And most importantly, stay involved with your children. That's the most important thing you can give the world. It's not your money. It's not your time. It's what you do with your children. Because believe it or not, the children are our future. That's another thing that people say all of the time. But trust me, You're probably 18, 19 years old now, 15, 16. At some point, you're going to be 30, 35, 40. And you're going to wonder what your future is going to be like. And your future is probably going to be dictated by those that are younger than you are. And it's important that you plant positive seeds, not only in the children that you father, but the children, any child that you come in contact with. Thank you.
If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. We got a perfect example. This is togetherness personified. You've been listening to and looking at The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson. For our guest, Jarrett, Jonathan.
It was a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Man, thank you. Thank you for dropping those gems and those Loganisms.
Absolutely.
Listen, we're going to keep bringing them, y'all. We're going to keep bringing them. You keep coming back, and we're going to keep feeding you with that good water on the KUDZUKIAN Network, The Journey. Take care. Thank you to our partners, the Delta Boule and Tennessee Valley Authority. To hear more incredible stories like this, be sure to download the KUDZUKIAN app from the App Store or Google Play. Or check out the Journey Memphis podcast on all your major podcast providers. Also, check us out on the KUDZUKIAN Network.